everyone wanted to be around me again. Everyone thought, wow, this is so sellable. This is so sellable. You know, and that's at one point we were both offered solo deals. We were in a deal, and we were being offered solo deals. We're being offered to go off and battle Eminem on TV and stuff, and all this crazy shit that's happening. You know, there would be no Sony records. People would have killed themselves. No one's winning the X Factor unless someone in their family's dying. It's all bullshit. Then maybe start coming up with schemes that are all bullshit. You know, look at the ways of abusing the system rather than going along and listen to what people want you to. I mean, put your hands up, right? People were doing this thing earlier. Put your hand up. All right, okay. Put your hands up. Who wants a record deal? Honestly, you could be fucking honest. All right? That's not what you need. It's just not. The reality is that that's not what you need. You need success. You know, who's ever bought? Put your hands up if you've ever bought a How to Make It in the Music Industry or all the guides to being a successful blah 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 blah. Put your hands up. Wow, brilliant. All this shit, it's books written by people from the industry to send you down the wrong fucking roads, to mold you into to what they want, so that you don't know anything about your rights, so they can just come in and go, okay, I know you've worked so hard and you've changed yourself from what you wanted to be, but they come in and go, this is how it is, and we're just going to take your whole fucking rights, you know, and that's it. And that's what it's all about. Sign a record deal and lose all your rights, get a little bit of money real quick, blow all the fucking money, and be unhappy for most of your life, or make music because you fucking love it, because you want to make it, and try to make a difference. Make something that's got some balls and stand out a little bit. You know what I mean? I love what Vic said earlier. That was really cool about being different. But let me just tell you right now, like, I sit before you as possibly, and I'm only because I've met with and rapped with and been with and have had confirmation of this, I could have possibly been the greatest rapper alive, one of the greatest rappers alive. And it didn't happen. I also sit here before you, a lead singer of a band right now who is possibly one of the greatest, could be one of the greatest bands, one of the most strangest, different bands. And the truth about it is that our bass player is South African. Our guitarist's mum slept with his best friend from school and had 2 kids. Our drummer's gay. And our violinist is a 22-year classically trained. This is not sellable. So we're probably not going to fucking do anything this time around. So just have fucking fun. You know, make it for yourself. Connect with fans. Direct. Like someone was saying earlier, emails. Directly connect with the fans. That's what it's all about.
So we
went on a fucking tangent.
Yeah,
there.
no, that's fine. It's just it's great. It's getting that time in the afternoon. I'm quite happy just to listen. But we're getting a bit low on time, so I kind of wanted to, touch on when.
I'm not speaking an American accent, no.
No, you don't have to. It was you that suggested that originally, but you can do it later on when you're pissed, yeah. See if you can convince them at the venue. Actually, you should try that. Things start to go horribly wrong. You start fighting with Billy. He moves back up to Scotland, and the next thing you're sort of signing on and being offered a job in the post room at Sony at the job centre. I mean, it really does seem that you couldn't really get much lower.
Tempted to take that one, by the way.
And then eventually you sort of pull yourself out of this. You out yourself as being Scottish on stage in your new band, and you've got loads of old mates there. And one of the things that I'm reading this book, you've got these people, and you do kind of feel a bit sorry for them because they're like, they're just kind of, they're pulling, obviously sort of feeling uncomfortable. You guys are aware of that. That makes there's a kind of element that is really entertaining about that as well, especially when you start needling the A&Rs at the Brit Awards and things where they know they've not invited you, and you at yourself as a Scot on stage, and it's all these people that you'd worked with that had thrown this money at you, You know, you touch on it, but I mean, your A&R woman was her name Ruth. Did she ever?
Big name.
Yeah. Did she ever speak to you again?
Celia McCamley.
What was the response of these people? I mean, how did they? What were some of the more extreme responses? Your manager, the people that had personally invested in you.
Jonathan Shalit, can I absolutely be honest about Jonathan Shalit? He wants to be famous. That's the truth about it. But he actually is he's a good guy. He hasn't really ever fucked anyone over that much. And I know a lot of people in the music industry who take pride in fucking people over. I've sat next to A&Rs going through, junior A&Rs, to people who are useless and don't have a say, sitting going through demos, and you're talking about getting your stuff to places, chucking them across the room and chucking them into bins like they're nothing. I'm sitting there going, fuck, I want to kill this motherfucker right here, you know. So when you sign a record deal, everyone fucking wants to be around you. Everyone wants to be around you. And when you're released, it's nothing. No one wants to talk to you. You're dead. You may as well be dead. And the funny thing is that when I came clean, everyone wanted to be around me again. Everyone thought, wow, this is so sellable. This is so sellable. You know, and that's, for me, it was like, fuck you. You know, and I was offered all sorts of shit from that point, and hopeless to work my band now. We haven't taken the deal. And I want to exist as a musician, but I don't want to be in the music industry. And I don't want to sit in another boardroom with an A&R who knows fuck all about music and the evolution of music, and sitting there telling me about statistics that some other person's told him about. You know, I don't want to do it again. It's soul destroying. You know, and if anyone out there is attempting to go down that path, you know, you're gonna end. I mean, some people don't. Some people, you know, like there's some great success stories, but even in those stories, I guarantee you, everyone will have a little piece about losing their love for music.
One of the question though really is, you know, how did people respond? How did you manage to respond? I got
slapped in the face a couple of times by friends. A lot of people threatened that if I used their name, they would sue. I mean, if I had got the 9 drafts it took me to get through this book, and the Irvin Welsh had assured me that the earlier ones were fucking incredible, but the only reasons they failed to get through each time was because of the legal side of it. If I had properly been allowed legally to put out the every single detail about this story, there would be no Sony records. People would have killed themselves. It would have ended lives for some of the shit.
Why? Just because of what you know?
From what I'd seen.
Well, remember that our head lawyer was caught on some dogging website. I think that was about 3 years ago, wasn't it? I think that made the news of the world or something.
For me, when people saw that show, I was coming clean like that, they were just scared. No one, when Decca was doing the Guardian piece, no one was allowed to speak, and Sony, no one was allowed to speak Gavin Bain's name. No one was allowed to mention Silibil and Brains. At Polydor, they had a gag put on them as well. Island Records, there was gags put on all these companies. But are you still friends
with some of these people? I mean, did you manage to transcend that from your American character back to being Gavin Bain and still maintain friendships with people?
Yeah, I do have a lot of friends who are still in the industry and
they were friends before when they thought you're American?
Yeah, and I've still managed to keep friends with them. But I don't, not friends like, you know, I only trust maybe like 5 or 6 people in the world. One of them is Murray Buchanan. And the other are my band, you know. So I don't trust them. They're not friends that you can trust, you know. They're around because they want something.
And what about Billy? I mean, you know, in the book he takes off, you don't seem to speak ever again. I mean, have you kind of rekindled a friendship there?
Not really. For me, that's the saddest thing. I mean, this book really is for Bill. It's a message that's at the very front of it, which is to Bill. We were the best of friends, you know, and the fact that we don't speak now is For me, the music industry did that to us. You know, the pressures. We were at one point we were both offered solo deals. We were in a deal, and we were being offered solo deals. We're being offered to go off and battle Eminem on TV and stuff, and all this crazy shit that's happening. You know, and people are attempting to split us. You know, and we let that shit get between us. You know, we really did. The paranoia just drove us apart.
Do you think, though, as well, I mean, you're young guys, you begin a huge amount of money, you can do all the drinking, shagging and drug taking that you want. I mean, do you not think that might have kind of distorted your view of reality a bit?
Yeah, of course.
Well?
I mean, I was saying to the guys from the Stanley Odd earlier that we were so young when we took it on. You know, it was like we hadn't become, through those years you're becoming a man. You know, we hadn't become people. We hadn't become the people we were properly yet. You know, we were still learning about who we were. To all of a sudden become someone else. You know, and that someone else was just a fantasy of who we would have loved to have been.
Do you think if you'd got signed in with your Scottish accents, you'd have behaved the same?
Nah, not really. I mean, like, there's a difference between being Scottish and getting into a fight every night, which I still do mostly, but and being a loudmouth American, over the score, opinionated. You know, I look back at a lot of the stuff that I'd done and said, and the way I treated people, because I was, you know, perpetuating stereotypes, and I look back at it with regret and shame. You know, I really don't. We weren't those guys. I mean, it's different. But Bill was an extremely confident ladies' man anyway. He just became an exaggerated version of himself. I become a complete monster. I created a monster and became that monster. So yeah, it was the difference between me and Bill on that was that he just wanted to have fun. He wanted to enjoy it, and I was the brains. I was the overthinker, the compulsive fucking maniac, and I had to control everything. I had to make it all work. I had to know all these statistics that we were talking about. I had to, you know, I had to go in and argue and discuss things with Sony that killed my love for music. And I had one trip, and Bill had another. And to this day, Bill probably still doesn't understand why we didn't release a fucking record. You know. We made 9 records in 9 years, and none of them have been released. It's insane.
So I think we're going to have to wrap it up in a minute, unfortunately. But there's this scene that I mean, obviously it's worth saying as well that Hopeless Heroic are going to be the first band on the Electric Circus tonight, the closing party at 10:30. So you can check out what Gavin's doing now. But there's that final scene where towards the end of the book, there's a sort of the Sony BMG merger's gone through, and you meet the Scottish A&R guy.
Oh yeah, Dougie pops up again.
Yeah.
At an elevator. Yeah.
I mean, can you just kind of talk us through that scene quickly as well?
Yeah, I mean, we thought this guy was onto us from that first meeting we had, and we hadn't heard anything about him. We'd walk around Sony, you know, like ducking, and then, you know, like, what the fuck, you know, was that the guy, you know? And then eventually, when they moved offices, they moved to BMG's home. Me and Bill are in a fucking really bad argument, and the lift pings open, and there's Dougie Bruce, and he walks in, and he's just looking at us, and he's like, turn away, and he keeps turning back. And he turns away again. He gets to our floor and he's like, don't I know you guys? Where do I know you guys from? And Bill just puts on an Australian accent. Nah, mate. Nah, you got the wrong guys, mate. We just ain't from Oz. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Gavin, it's been a real pleasure. I think it's a fantastic way to end the event. It's been a very good event. I mean, it's taken a lot of work and a lot of people to put this together, and I'd personally really like to thank my team who've been amazing. I mean, Derek, Leslie, and Mikey, Hannah, Craig, all the people that have been involved with it. And Hopeless Heroic are going to be the First band on the Electric Circus tonight, the closing party at 10:30, so you can check out what Gavin's doing now.